Hey guys, today we're in the studio again with Pastor Ross, and we're just doing some commonly asked questions about baptism. Okay, so I've got 4 of them here. Maybe we'll even throw a couple more in. We've got other resources on baptism, but let's just get to some of these questions. Maybe there's someone that's sort of teetering on the edge. They're not sure if they should get baptized or not. Okay, first question. Do I need to get baptized? How would you answer that?
The answer is baptism. The answer is no on one level. Baptism is not necessary for salvation.
Right.
Because salvation is by faith, by God's grace through faith alone. Yeah. However, the other side of that question is that Jesus commanded baptism, so it's important.
Yeah.
And so any Christian who has never been baptized really should be baptized in obedience to Jesus, but it's not a condition for salvation.
Yeah, if you've taken foundations with this circle, it's really at the beginning of the second line of the second arrow. It's not in the first arrow. We start by trusting Jesus. Baptism is something that we do to honor God.
Yeah, and for many people, it's the very first act of obedience to God that you might make.
Yeah, that's good. And so then that leads to my next question. Yeah. So when should I get baptized? If someone's out there watching this, when should I do it?
Well, the answer I think is as soon as possible. You know, when you know for sure, and you know you've got this new thing with this new relationship with God, then there's no biblically, there's no reason to hesitate or to put off the baptism. In fact, if you read the New Testament, like in Acts chapter 16, it talks about this guy in Philippi, a jailer, who came to faith in Christ and was baptized that same night.
Yep.
The same thing in Acts chapter 8, this Ethiopian official comes to faith out in the wilderness, and they say, well, hey, there's water, let's stop, let's get baptized, we might as well. So there's really no reason to delay.
I would only say this to people watching this, is just make sure that you have had your defining moment.
Yeah.
Because I know for some people, they think about baptism as almost more like membership in a church or something, and that's not what baptism is about. Again, we'll put more on this below. But make sure that you have personally trusted in Jesus for salvation, right? And I know that's what you meant when you said that. And then if you've done that, then get baptized.
Then get baptized,
right? Because sometimes I know we've had some people come up to us at church saying, I want to get baptized. And when you ask them about what that means to them, they've never even really personally trusted in Jesus. They view it as a kind of a church or an institutional thing. Right?
And I've seen one other thing, just quickly. People say, I want to get baptized, who haven't yet had their defining moment of faith. For some people, depending on their culture, that's kind of the only way they know how to say, I want to get right with God.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
And so the baptism becomes an opportunity to clarify those things for them.
Right, that's good. Okay, next question. What if I was baptized in a different kind of church?
Okay, depends on how different and what different means. Because every church that upholds the basics of historic biblical Christianity, baptism really is essentially the same thing.
That's right.
You know, so God, the triune nature of God and the deity of Christ and salvation by faith alone through grace alone and the authority of the Bible, you know, if it's a church, you were baptized in a church like that, that baptism is valid in any other church that believes those things. Now, if you're baptized in a church that doesn't teach those things, then your baptism meant something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it meant membership in some aberrant group, or it meant some other kind of thing before God. And so, in that case, it's appropriate to be baptized again if you've had that defining moment of faith.
What about the person who says, I was baptized in a Christian church when I was young, and then I just really fell away from God for years and years and years, and they want to get baptized again more as a symbol of this recommitment? What would you say to that?
Well, in a case where their baptism was when they were young, and maybe they didn't fully... See, because here, Brian, baptism is a symbol where you go down in the water, it's like a death to the old life. You come up out of the water, it symbolizes this resurrection to a new life. Okay, and if I'm young, I don't really understand that it means a new life, that there's a new life in Christ, and I haven't ever lived that, then it's probably appropriate. In fact, I know it's appropriate to be baptized again as a real expression of now you understand, I want to live a new life with Christ. And so I'm going to show that with baptism.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, one last question. What if I was too young to understand, or maybe not even too young, what if I just didn't understand what baptism was about when I did it?
Right. Then I'd be baptized again. Yeah, I think so. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, some people were baptized even when they were infants, depending on their church culture. And I would say, you know,
I was.
Once you once you've really defined that relationship with God, then baptism becomes a fitting symbol of that thing that you own that now.
All right, so let's end with personal stories. I was baptized as an infant in the Catholic Church. So it's not about the Catholic Church or not. It's just when I became a Christian, when I personally put my faith in Christ as a teenager, I got baptized because it was my choice. It was my decision.
Right.
Do you have a story?
Well, I was baptized in a church, and we talked about those churches that don't believe the basics of biblical Christianity. So I was baptized in one of those aberrational churches, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so when I came to faith as a young adult, it was I knew I needed to be baptized again.
Yeah.
In a way, it was almost like being unbaptized from that other group and being baptized into Christ, the new loyalty.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I hope that helps. So those are some common questions. If you've got some of your own questions, you can put them in the comments below. But use the questions below to talk about this with a group or mentor.